sir. I am Noel Bulay reporting about the Sharing the Earth Resources Chapter 10. In a world of great wealth, there is multitudes some people who live in absolute poverty. So, matod pa sa akong report, so naik daghan ring tao diri sa kalibutan nga nagpuyo sa kapobre or kalisod. So, the Human Development Report indicates that of world 6 billion people. So matod pa sa development report nila kay adunay 6 billion ka tawo sa kalibutan. Then 1.2 billion live on less than $1 per day. The extent of poverty is indicated as well in other measures. So for instance, 925 million people are undernourished. So matod pa na 925 million nga kulang sa sustansya or kulang sa kalusugan, walay nutrition. So dayon, then 114 million primary age children are not enrolled. So aduna po'y 114 million ka mga bata ang wala pa kapa-enroll sa mga eskwelahan or wala ka eskwela. Then more than 2.6 billion people, almost half of world total, do not have access in basic sanitation. So aduna po'y 2.6 billion kataong or katunga sa kadaghanon sa tao sa kalibutan nga walay access sa basic sanitation. Then with more than 1 billion still using unsafe sources of water. So aduna po'y 1 ka bilyon nga tao nga nagamit sa unsafe or dili safety nga mainom nga tubig. So according to Millennium Project, there are 30,000 children aged 5 and below die each day due to poverty. So matod pa sa UN Millennium Project, sa adunay 30,000 ka bata nga edad sa 5 pa ubos ang namatay tungod sa kapobre. And that is about 210,000 children each week. So 210,000 kada semana, or under 11 million children each year. So or 11 million kabata sa isa ka tuig nga namatay tong. Then Be quiet in some of the poorest village on earth, far removed from the scrutiny and conscience of the world. So namatay sila sa kahilom quietly or kahilom tungod sa kapobre sa kalibutan or ilang antos. Then dayon, poverty is also a major factor why numerous women die in pregnancy or childbirth. So, ang poverty kuno kay isa pod ka major factor nganong moong daghang nang matay nga babae nga nagburos or mga nakay. So, matud pa sa UN Millennium Project reported that more than half a million women die every year from pregnancy related causes. So aduna daw tunga ka milyon nga mga babae ang namatay kada tuig tungod sa sinungdan sa pagbuburos o ang mga causes. So atong ipadayon natong report. So tragic gap. While an alarming number suffers from poverty and accompanying misery, it brings a smaller number of the world population based on abundant wealth. So the richest 5% of the world people, for instance, receive 114 times the income of the poorest 5%. The richest 1% receive as much as the poorest 57%. So similarly, the 25 million richest Americans have as much income as almost 2 billion of the world's poorest people. So the combined wealth of the world 200 richest people is 1 trillion, while the combined income of the 582 million people living in the 43 less developed countries is 146 billion. Furthermore, the developing world spent 13 on debt repayments for every one it receives in grants. World Bank 1999. So the tragic gulf between the rich and the poor is also reflected in the Philippines situation. So ang tragic gulf between sa dato sa pobre is na-reflect po sa atong bansa sa Philippine issue. So for example, Sulu province in Mindanao had an 88.8 incident of poverty, while ang Metro Manila kay poverty incidence was only at 4.3%. So example lang ni kay ang Sulu province sa Mindanao nga adunay 88.8 incident sa poverty. So while ang Manila kay adunay 4.3 incident sa poverty. So the PHDR also report stark contrast in the poverty related measures of life expectancy and percentage of high school graduates between the two provinces. So life expectancy at birth in Manila was at 69.2 years in 2000, while in Sulu it was 52.23 years percent. So percentage of high school graduates in Metro Manila was 74.3, while in Sulu it was only 18.1%. It is no surprise that Sulu is one of the top conflict affected areas in the Philippines. So sa about po sa high school graduates daw kay sa Manila kay adunay 74.3% ang nakagraduate, while sa Sulu kay aduna lang 18.1%. So di ni katingalahan kay ang Sulu isa sa mga top conflict na apektado sa pobre diri sa Pilipinas. Then a situation where high numbers of people drown in the cauldron of misery, while a few takes pleasure in having plethora of material choices, is a state of violence. Structural violence refers to systems, institution, and policy that meet some people human needs, rights, and wants at the expense of other. Hunger and poverty are symptoms of this violence. So isa po ning makahimo po og isa ka krimen ang tao tungod aning kalisod. For example, makapangawat ka tungod sa kapobre, dahil makabuhat ka dili maayo tungod lang kay guston mo masalbar mo pagkapobre. So this system, institution, and policy are well entrenched in global economic international order controlled by powerful nation states, international agency, and transnational corporations, while inequitable trade practice is resulting in more tragic gap between the rich and the poor. So mo to siya, usa ka makapahimo mo krimen or may binuhatan, for example robbery or pangawat or pang-hold up sa bangko, mo nang isa kay nungdan sa kapobre or kalisod sa tao mo makabuhat sa isa krimen. So there are also other causes of poverty. So one is war. Armored conflict disrupt the people livelihood and all productive activities. In Mindanao, Filipino, for example, it was estimated that over the period 1970 to 2001, the output loss was approximately between 5 billion to 7.5 billion pesos annually. So and if investment opportunities that were lost were to be counted in the economic cost of the world in Mindanao, would amount to 10 billion pesos annually. So also, four of the five provinces with the highest poverty incidence in the Philippines are found in the war-torn Mindanao, Sulu, Tawi-Tawi, Basilan, and Zamboanga del Norte. So, upat ka lugar nga mas naapektuhan sa kalisod o kapobre, pinaka highest poverty. So, isa ni ang Sulu, Tawi-Tawi, Basilan, then ang last kay Zamboanga del Norte. So, ikaduha nga hinungdan sa poverty is political system created by local political elite and have combined with profit motivate economic system and reduce opportunity for most people to earn enough to meet their basic needs. So, sa parni ang mga politician dili nila mahatag ang mga kinahanglan sa ubang tao muna hinungdan sa pobre. So, ikatulo kay inequitable distributions of wealth and resources much of has begun in colonial history. So, mapan po ni sa hinungdan tungod sa katupang colonial history. So, colonization has had adverse impact of the colonized nation economic situation. So, the Development Education Project reports the colonizations altered the economics of the colonized, ensuring the provision of raw materials for the colonizer. So, and severely restricted the development of the former. This left them with major economic and political difficulties. The experience of colonization has also set an international economic system that assures the West of a steady market for its products. In the Philippines, indigenous people were historically self-sustaining, but the injustice over the centuries begin with colonization has destroyed their self-sufficiency. So, moto siya. So, ang ikaupat kay environmental condition. So, some places are blessed with more abundant resources, while others have to contend with land and cannot yield crops. So, daghang lugar ang blessed or abundant sa resources, while ang uban kay ginagmay ra ilang that. So ang ikalima sa causes sa poverty kay overutilizations of resources. So, coral reefs have been destroyed, forests and have logging and agricultural land have lost much topsoil due to over applications and pesticides and precious generation causing reduces yield. So, moto siya ang ikalima katong overutilization of resources. So, then ang ikanom, lack of opportunities such as employment. So, wala kulang sa opportunities para mahimong empleyado mo tong sa kasabar. So, kapito kay lack of education, wala ka agyo eskwela. Then corruption, then overconsumption, dayon ang last kay ang greed. So, moto siya ang mga causes sa hungry naman, causes sa poverty. Moto siya nagkalain-laing causes. So dahil na to, balik na punta sa demystifying myths about poverty. So, it's often thought that poverty is caused by scarce resources. So, overpopulations of laziness. However, the institutions for food and development policy assert that there is enough grain grown worldwide to provide every person with 3,500 colonies each day and enough food to provide at least 4 to 3 pounds of food per person a day worldwide. So, and even if the United Nations Population Fund claims that better reproduct, reproductive health reduces poverty, so reporting that developing countries with slower population growth have same higher productivity. So population density does not necessarily corresponded to the prevalence of hunger. So China, for instance, has only half of agricultural land per person compared in India. So ang China kuno kay, for instance, only have katunga lang ang agricultural land para sa mga tao compare sa India. So yet China appears to have eliminated widespread hunger from 1979 to 2003. China annual gross national product grows from 43.8 billion to 1.414 trillion. So dako kayo, no? So on the matters of laziness, farmers, fisher folk and laborers among other workers work very hard and for so long to survive, yet so they are still on the list on the world poor. So the Institution for Peace and Justice asserts that every country's where is poverty is common pattern can be found that is a powerful few exercise every tightening control over food, product, and other economic resources of majority expenses. So, motto siya. So, proceed na po ta sa promise of economic globalization. So, economic globalization refers to the economic integrations of the world countries through the increase the flow of goods and service, capital and labor. So, si Paul Stratton calls this model globalization from above. So si Paul Stratton daw gitawag niya ang model globalization nga from above. So its most important aspects are the breaking down of national economic barriers, that growth in trade, and the key role influence of transnational corporations and international financial institutions. Economic globalization is supposed to bring in enormous benefits, among which are the promotion of economic efficiency, on the expansion of opportunity for growth and development, thereby reducing poverty, inequality, and enhancing human development security. So moto siya. So ang economic globalization has actually triggered capital flows the development countries, so and has created wealth. However, economic indicators from the year 1990 and 2002 indicate the benefits have not trickled down to the majority. Is so global employment has reached the 185.9 million mark of 40%, and world 6.5 billion people live in poverty, and 59% of the world people live in countries with growing inequality. So nay 57 ka tao sa kalibutan ang nagdako sa wala dili pantay-pantay. So pagkaman nato kay nay pangata what has gone wrong. So The critics points of the unfair rules of the game set by rich countries that own the transnational corporations and dominate the international financial institution. Such rules were signed to work to their advantage. Economic globalizations has also overemphasized the material more than ends the matters such as human rights, development, equality, inclusion, human security, and the environment. So, the Human Development Reports write that these values should take precedence over the goal of profits accumulation for globalization to work. In peace education, the goal that is such in the maximizations of well-being and not maximization of profit. So, then, ang programa na to, discuss po ta about sa challenging economic equality, inequity, challenges economic equality. So, how can the resources of the world be more equally distributed? So, muna siya ang mga pre-contributed. So, global, establishing new international and political economics order so that is fair. So, network propose an international trade and investment system to respect the support the dignity of the human person as human are the subject of development and not the tools to be used for development. So this new international economic order should not make profit the sole driving force but take into serious considerations and advancement of the common good. So network also proposes that this global economic system respect the global environment to ensure sustainability of our finite earth. So wealthy countries should open up their markets to poor. So countries without conditionality. So developed countries should provide unconditional debt relief as it's the foreign debt burden that compels most developing countries. So countries without conditioning. So developing countries should provide unconditional debt relief. It is the foreign debt burden that compels most developing countries to reduce the allocations for basic social and economic service. The developing world spend 13 on debt repayments for every $1 is receives in grant. World Bank. So assistance given to developing nations should be in the form of grant without condition that further push the country in the bottom of the poverty cauldron. So currently the world's developed countries own creditors roughly US dollars 1.5 trillion. So rich countries should open access to technologies as technology helps propel development. So mga lain daw mga dato nga lugar kay kinahanglan sila maka-access to technologies as technology helps propel development. So reduce military expenditures so that more resources would be made available for basic service and productive activities. Mo to siya sa global, so after sa global, discuss about sa national. So a genuine on comprehensive agrarian reform program should be implemented. The Institution for Food and Development Policy reported that comprehensive land reform has greatly increased production in countries like Japan, Zimbabwe, and Thailand. So, dapat daw mo increase of production countries ang pareha sa Japan, Zimbabwe, and Taiwan. So, government should increase subsidy for education, which helps even the playing field. So moto siya. So government and the private leading institution should institute credit reforms that will support small and medium scale entrepreneurs. So government should provide training skill. So ang government daw kinahanglan pud nga mag-provide og mga training skill program para sa mga livelihood and marketing, para sa livelihood on marketing. So progress taxation reform should be instituted to increase the purchasing power of the poor. So rural infrastructure such as farm to market roads and drying facility for harvest should be developed. So kinahanglan pod pag transportation sa mga pagkaon, kinahanglan pod nga maayo ilang facility sa pag-harvest, facility palitan. Example na nakay umahan or mga gulayan nga layo kaya dapat na sila maayong dalan or makuha dili ilang delivers sa ilang mga baligya. So mo to siya, dapat daw maghatag facility for harvest should be developed. So dayon, the government should make itself more accessible and visible. So the government should itself more accessible and visible to the people through decentralization. So decentralization is the process of transferring to local governments units political authority, resources, and responsibility so that the latter may better deliver basic service. So transnational corporations should be obliged to make contributions to community develop and environment protection. So a code of conduct should be set for transnational corporations to follow. They should take the lead in paying correct taxes, paying payable and just wage, refusing investment to bribe, providing security to their workers, and complying with the host country's environmental standards. So reduce military expenditures so that more resources would be made available for basic service and productive activities. So moto siya ang sa national. So moto to siya about ang akong report, sir.
Aye, sir.
And daghan salamat. Ay.